Billy is in Asheville, North Carolina. Billy, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's me, Billy, again.
Well, hi, Billy. I don't remember you the first time, but welcome. Welcome back.
I called up last weekend about biomass energy.
Okay, I still don't recall, but I don't remember what I talked about 2 nights ago, so go ahead with your thoughts.
Is this like the people who would be on Sunday night, right?
You're talking about, you're talking about there on WWNC in North Carolina. It's a iHeartMedia station that carries our show live on, I think, on Sunday nights. Yes, that's correct. This is Free Talk Live.
So what I want to say is I wrote a letter to the Air Mission Agency for North Carolina about taking landfills into biomass by putting a biomass plant in each landfill, since biomass is trash and energy. But I got a letter back today, and they basically just said that they already have it with methane or some type of gas that comes from the ground from the trash. So
methane sounds right.
Yeah, that's right. So what you're saying is, biomass is where you take sort of biological product, trash, garbage, things like that, and you turn it into energy. Is that the idea?
Yeah, but supposedly they already have methane, but I just wanted to give an update.
Hey, there you go. Thanks for the call tonight, Billy. I appreciate hearing from you. That's something I don't really know a whole lot about. I imagine that the story from Seattle may be related, where they're now fining people who throw away too much food. So we can get into that here in a little bit. Anybody a fan of the whole biomass?
I just don't know how they would make it profitable. Like, it's just trash sitting there, and then somebody has to make this huge investment to go in and build this facility and hire all these workers, and how are they getting paid?
I don't know.
Are they selling the biomass fuel?
They're probably getting paid by some government agency somewhere.
Right, so it'd be a net loss.
Right, but it's one of those things that, it's a make-work program. So we're giving people jobs, and it makes people feel good.
But that doesn't mean that this or some other similar idea wouldn't be profitable in a free marketplace where you actually had open competition where, if they could figure out a way to make money, then they'd be paying people for their trash. They'd pay you to pick up your garbage if they could make that profitable.
Right, and the thing is that somebody has to make that investment initially, though, and nobody's really going to do that because you can't turn a profit on something like trash right now. And it definitely should be done. Like, I think it would be. I think everybody would benefit from that, not just a few people, but there would be more land open. There would be less pollution, and I hope that somebody does it someday. But
it's like you said, right now it's not profitable, but maybe if
in
we
the
had
future when inflation has gone up like 10,000%.
Well, right now governments in most places are in charge of trash collection and landfills and things like that. Actually, around here in Keene, New Hampshire, the government doesn't collect the trash, but they do run the town dump, the town landfill. So ultimately, governments are all over the place.
So they won't do the work, but they'll just provide the place for you to dump your stuff?
They won't do the... Oh, you mean the work of picking it up?
Yes.
Good. I don't want them to do the work of picking it up because I can choose from different companies who will do the pickups, or I can just take it out to the dump myself. If I don't want to pay someone to pick it up, I can just load it up in the back of a truck and take it out there and take care of it myself.
Right, but that's one of those things to where you have to sort of do the calculations yourself, figure out if it's more profitable for you to do the labor. Because
I don't think
what's your time worth? How long does it take you to drive out to the dump?
And that's not the only factor.
Do you have a personal check on you? Because they don't take cash here.
Right, or credit cards. And also, when you go out to the dump here, sometimes there's a line. So even if it doesn't take you very long to get there, you never know.
To do.
Yeah, you never know how many people are going to be sitting in that line waiting to get into the dump.
Right.
Chess game at the dump drive-thru.
And then do you have things that need to go to different areas? Because household trash goes to one place, electronics goes somewhere else, metal goes somewhere, wood goes somewhere.
I'd rather pay the professionals to handle it, and I think I pay all of $25 a month for that. Somebody comes and picks it up once a week, just like it was in Florida. Although I don't remember... I know that in Florida, when I lived in Florida, where the government had some contractor doing it for everybody, I think they were charging a little bit less total than what I pay here.
Anyway, it's better to have somebody do it for you. I mean,
But
that's why they say throw things away. You literally push it away from you so you don't have to think about it anymore.
But there's an interesting interesting episode of Penn and Teller's BS, which is a great Showtime
I
program.
love that show.
Yeah, it was awesome. They did 8 seasons of it, and almost every episode was just fantastic. Some were better than others, but most of them were pretty great, and all of them are worth watching at least once. But one of them was focusing on recycling and
That's my
landfills.
favorite episode because
That was a life-changing episode for me.
well, they just show how ludicrous the whole thing is.
Are you talking about recycling glass and plastic?
They hit all of the recycling, and they
Right.
do point out that I think it's aluminum and was glass one of the other ones? There was aluminum and something else that's actually worth recycling.
I think
Copper
glass.
wire, maybe?
Well, yeah, maybe copper would be as well, but they point out that like paper and plastic and stuff like this is not worth recycling at all. In fact, it's it's a negative effect. In fact, the bleaching process of recycling paper is actually more polluting than making new paper from trees and things like that. They kind of go into some really interesting, eye-opening points about why recycling is basically BS.
My favorite part of that episode, though, is where they go and they ask the people, okay, so right now you're separating paper, plastic, and glass. We've got a few more cans for you.
Yeah.
Let's see what you think. And it wound up to where they had 8 cans. And one of the things was paper products that had touched food, paper that had not touched food, soiled paper, so diapers, etc. And it was
diapers aren't
just
even paper, though.
absolutely ridiculous. And some of the people, it'll probably
Okay.
take me a little while to get used to it, but I'm okay with this.
Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous. It was kind of like a hidden camera thing where they went up to some homeowner's house and when he was taking the garbage out and sort of introduced him to the news system where they kept bringing out bin after bin after bin with different labels on it.
You want to recycle? You're on Candid Camera.
Just to see how far they could push it with this guy. How many bins could they bring out before the guy finally got fed up? And I don't think he got fed up. He just was, people feel like it's their duty and that they're doing
Right.
something for the earth when in point of fact,
America.
they pointed out that the EPA back in the 80s or whatever essentially came up with this idea, and then it's almost completely bunk on a lot of the things that we commonly recycle. So I gave up after that. More coming up here. This is Free Talk Live. Since we're talking about garbage, we actually had somebody call in just by chance at the beginning of the show to talk about this biomass idea, turning biological waste into fuel. The consensus among the panel here was that it doesn't really seem like it would be profitable, but
In the current
right now,
setting of things.
maybe in the future when the government isn't handling garbage disposal,
Maybe
then
in the future when we can just split molecules without putting very much energy into it.
great point. Yeah. So who knows what's going to change? Because when one discovery it happens, it can totally change a game. So, for instance, a great example of this is oil, crude oil, right? This stuff was a pollutant up until the point when someone figured out that you could burn it and turn it into energy, basically. It was a farmland pollutant, and it was an annoyance. So these farmers were upset when they had oil on their property coming up out of the ground.
Can you imagine living in that time period? Like,
Yeah.
I got this terrible oil spill.
It was a
over my
problem.
land.
But then
Don't know what to do with it.
the farmers that kept the land that had the oil on it probably became, multimillionaires after it became valuable, after people figured out with their human ingenuity how to turn this annoyance into something that was incredibly valuable and still is today. So that we could just be waiting to see what sort of biomass advances happen that could totally change the game and turn things around to where you actually get paid for giving people garbage, which would be an amazing turnaround.
Yeah.
I
It's
should
possible.
patent this idea because when I was in kindergarten, I drew a picture of a machine that took in trash and spat out like whatever predetermined object you chose.
Like a 3D printer.
Yeah, well,
Right,
kind
today.
of, except instead of having a plastic wire that you feed into the head, is just trash.
Well, the 3D printers are sort of the first step in the realm of going into kind of having these what's like Star Trek with the, what do they call them? The replicators?
Yeah.
There? Yeah. You can
I actually saw something a couple of days ago they actually have a 3D pen now.
A 3D pen, as in you write with it?
You draw things, and it spits out the plastic, similar to a 3D printer.
Wow.
And you can, like, draw into the air, and then the plastic goes up, and you can make 3D objects with this handheld pen.
Wait, now the pen doesn't print too, does it? It's, like, connected to a printer that does the printing?
No. You
pen
hold
itself.
it in your hand, and you press a little button, and plastic comes out, and then you form things.
It's not the size of a traditional pen, though, is it?
It's
it must
the
have,
size of, like, a large Sharpie.
So then the things it prints out are very small? It must not have that much material in it.
Well, you keep feeding in plastic things. They showed somebody that had one of the objects that they have on their website is somebody that has made a replica of the Eiffel Tower that is probably like 1.5 feet tall.
So you can literally sculpt in the air.
Yes.
That is amazing.
How does it defeat gravity?
Wonderful.
I don't understand.
The plastic hardens.
Yeah. Really? It's that fast? Wow. That's
apparently.
Yeah.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.